Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about the nation of Venezuela, the United States of America, and a specific tactical maneuver that now presents itself to Andrew Yang. All right. Okay, so today in Venezuela, there was this terrible event where a security vehicle plowed into a group of protesters who were in Caracas, Venezuela, who were protesting the presidency of Nicolas Maduro. Okay, and it is also believed that these protesters were in support of the interim president, which Nicolas Maduro has denied that interim presidency role to Juan Guaido. And Juan Guaido is also he's an opposition leader specifically to Nicolas Maduro. Okay, so this is just another escalation in the continuing crisis that is occurring in Venezuela. Venezuela is in, absolutely without a doubt, a governmental crisis. So basically, President Nicolas Maduro, he has done four distinct things in Venezuela. Specifically, he has failed to protect the people of Venezuela from he's failed to protect the people of Venezuela from security forces that are in the nation, right? He refuses to accept the legitimacy of interim president Juan Guaido, and Nicolas Maduro is remaining in power. He has directly from that, he is suppressing freedom and democracy. And the last thing is he's allowed inflation to skyrocket so much in Venezuela that essentially what you have is a situation where the people of that country are having a very difficult time just buying the basic needs for life. You know, food and water are very difficult to come by right now. It's a very challenging situation, and I believe in my opinion, it's very clearly a governmental crisis. The government of Venezuela is in crisis. Okay, now specifically this event today, it points to a tactical maneuver that is available to Andrew Yang in the election race right now. Now, this tactical maneuver, often tactical maneuvers within, so right now we have the 2020 U.S. presidential election race. Andrew Yang is in that, right? And all he's doing right now is just running around to as many media outlets as he can to get his message of UBI, Universal Basic Income, out to as many people as he can, and that is, hey, I want to give every adult between 18 and 65, every American $1,000 a month, right? And so that's what he wants to do, right? And so he's working so hard, he's doing a great job, right? But that's what he's focused on, right? But this right now presents a distinct tactical maneuver. Now, often in an election, in a U.S. presidential election race, the tactical maneuver would be done specifically to raise your profile and raise your polling numbers, right? And to raise the number of people who are communicating that they will vote for you, and really, actually more specifically to persuade people to vote for you because they think you have good ideas, right? Or that you'll be a good governing official, right? Now, this tactical maneuver specifically, I hate using win-win because everybody overuses it, but I genuinely believe that there is right now a very, very win-win situation for the nation of Venezuela, the people of Venezuela, and specifically the nation of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America. We are very, very close in geography, and right now, in this very, very special, important moment, we have this opportunity for Andrew Yang to really bind to the two nations together in a specific arrangement that would aid both countries tremendously, okay? All right, so I'll explain what it is. So because Venezuela is in a governmental crisis and its people are being failed, and the government is failing consistently to give them safety, peace, food, water, stability, all the things that a government would do. I think that right now Andrew Yang should say to the Venezuela people, if I'm elected president on day one, on January 20th, 2021, I will extend the offer of statehood to Venezuela, right? Basically, his plan, in my opinion, should be the following. Venezuela will be split into 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west, and Andrew Yang would extend an offer of statehood to the entire nation, and if the nation accepts, Venezuela will be split up into four provinces, actually 4 separate U.S. states. You know, the southern part, the southeastern, the southwest, the northwest, and northeast quadrants would each become a separate state, and Venezuela would become the 51st, 52nd, 53rd, and 54th state of the United States of America, right? And Andrew Yang would be offering this specifically, right, to the people of Venezuela, and then allow them to communicate in whatever way they choose that they reject this idea or they desperately want to accept this idea. Now, this would be incredibly beneficial to both Venezuela and to the United States of America. The reason why, if this were to occur, if this plan were to be enacted, right, if Andrew Yang was elected as president, and then he were to enact this plan, or he would make the offer, and then the Venezuela people would accept the offer, which actually I think they could accept even before he was elected, right? They can declare their intent now, right? Then he could go ahead and enact this plan, and we would have 4 additional states in the United States of America. America desperately needs this, right? We are an expansion nation. We truly are, right? It pains us to not be expanding all the time, right? And right now, we desperately need new states. And right now, also, we are keeping this nation as 50 states completely arbitrarily. There's no good reason not to begin extending statehood to nations all over the world who have governments that are failing, right? But Venezuela is a really specifically wonderful opportunity to do exactly this, because those people are hurting. Their government clearly has failed them. The entire world is noticing this, right? The United Nations, NATO, everybody is aware of this governmental crisis, right? That the people of Venezuela, there's really almost no one who is arguing that the people of Venezuela have not been failed by their government, right? So America desperately needs new land, right? And not new land for our people to populate, but new land where our people can travel to freely, right? Where those people who live there can travel to our nation freely, right? And to set up this new model where we will have a cultural infusion of, brand new good ideas, people who are able to aid America, and there can be people would be able to travel between Venezuela and California exactly the same way I travel between Pennsylvania and, let's say, New York, right? Basically, now, of course, it would need to be through air travel, right? And maybe boat as well. You wouldn't be able to drive there, but that would be a temporary problem, right? Now, how does this help the Venezuela people? Well, that you can file that under duh. America does have a few problems, but as far as, supplying people with peace, safety, food, water, and far more than that, right? America has absolutely proven it can do that for every single state we have, and our surplus would far surpass what Venezuela needs. We would be able to absolutely crush what what President Maduro has supplied for the people, which is very little, right? So we would really be able to raise their standard of living immediately, right? And also, if there were new states for America, the land that had that statehood, the whole world is so many people throughout the world are simply trying to just get citizenship in our nation. To give statehood to an entire nation and allow that nation to become the 4 new states in America, the opportunity would be incredible for Venezuela, and they would be incredibly the entire arrangement would be incredibly beneficial for Venezuela in many, many, many ways beyond wealth. There would, certainly would be a huge influx of wealth, because basically we would be able to do new and different things with 4 states in Venezuela. I also think it would help us tremendously to have a much better relationship with all of South America if we literally had states within South America, right? Now, the other thing is, we have this is an opportunity for expansion to be done without any military force, right? We could simply extend the offer, and the Venezuelan people could communicate to us en masse and say, we really want this, right? We would have to listen carefully. This has never been done before, right? We would need to listen to an entire people of a singular nation, right? We have the technology, we have the nuanced political experts, we have the scientists that would be necessary to accomplish this, right? And I really think this is a great way to aid the Venezuelan people first, the United States of America second, and frankly, Andrew Yang, right? Now, all right, we're going to get a little, we're going to talk about it, right? So I really think that Andrew Yang should enact this immediately. And the reason why is, without a doubt, okay, this would be an incredibly bold statement for a political candidate, right? This would strain the foreign policy abilities of a U.S. political candidate, right? But right now, I don't think Andrew Yang has any option but to absolutely push the limits of what he is doing and what he can do. And the reason why is our current president is Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump has totally reshaped politics to being where the role of the president right now is to do what is to absolutely strain and push out the limits of what that role is allowed to do. And then when he goes too far, the people of America cry out and say, this is too much, Mr. President, you have to stop, right? Now, this is not how any president, in my opinion, has ever operated, right? But in order to defeat this particular opponent, Donald Trump, right, Andrew Yang is going to have to get bold, right? There's going to have to be some really, really bold, like incredibly bold actions, and this would be one of them. And this would be one of them. And the reality is, I think this would really, really help Andrew Yang if he did this, he would be able to communicate to people, hey, I have bold solutions. I'm ready, right? The other thing that, and I believe he is 100% ready. I really think he is the candidate to take us into the future, right? The other thing is that I think is really important to recognize is this is an acknowledgement, and I think we really, as a nation, need to start acknowledging this, that the race for the U.S. president, for 2020 doesn't just affect us; it affects the whole world, right? And this would be just a very practical and real acknowledgement of that, and allowing another people to tie their future to our election, right? Because I think in many ways we pretend that our presidential election is about us, but it really is about the whole world. Because there are incredibly few nations on this planet that are not affected by our presidential election, right? And so this would be a very tacit, very real, very practical recognition of that. So it is my opinion that Andrew Yang tomorrow should declare that if he is president, he will offer statehood to the nation of Venezuela to save them from their governmental crisis, right? That is my opinion. That's my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.